you are ready to take action on that online course that you have been saying that you're going to create. Or maybe you have already created one and you're like, why isn't it working? Am I doing it right? Why is it taking so long? You are in the right place, okay? Gone are the days where you can sit and say, here, build your dream business in 7 days. I'm not that girl. I'm going to give you a practical guide, and we're going to take more of like a marathon approach rather than the sprint approach when building your online course. My name is Karen Wilson. This channel is all about building and maximizing your online courses so that you're building courses that students actually want to buy and they're getting through, and you're getting success on both the student side and you feel successful with your online course. So we're going to go through 4 of the critical pieces in building an online course. Size matters. That's number 1. Number 2 is your course transformation, the statement and all of that stuff. The writing of the course. And yes, I'm a firm believer in writing your course. I'm going to talk with you about a specific formula that I use with my clients and myself when they're writing their online courses. And the actual physical construction of the course. Like, what are you going to need to get into place before accessing the free trial on a lot of the course platforms that are out there, like Kajabi and Teachable and all of that. What if you had your online course completely constructed and ready to go so that by the time you made your first payment, you're already getting sales from your course? You already have people lining up and saying, yes, I want to do it. That's what I do with my clients, and that's what I want to share with you, the whole structure in this video on how to set that up, how to get ready for those free trials, and really maximize on that. First, we're going to talk about the size. After helping many professionals with the size of their course, the ones that seem to have a lot more pickup and success both with the students and with the teacher are the smaller ones, what I like to call the pocket courses. And these are just really quick courses that don't take you as long to write out, and it's giving the student a quick win. So a lot of times what happens when we start to make courses, because you're a teacher, because you're a person of generosity, these courses, they get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and it takes months and months to create. Well, it doesn't have to be like that, because once the student gets in them, they're overwhelmed. It's like, I don't have time to do all this. So size definitely matters. Shoot to make your lessons short and actionable, and make, the pocket course, I like to use a rule of thumb, is anywhere from about 2 to 4 hours maximum of content. And really think about what you're asking your student to do, what you're asking them to implement, and take into account that people are super duper busy. So you want to make sure that you are giving them actions behind every lesson. And you're taking into account, as the teacher, how long is it going to take them for the homework? How long should my students be budgeting in? Am I giving too much too fast? And so that's why I love to just drill it down to a small course, and really have that small course be a topic that you're already working with people with. You've already seen transformations. They're small transformations. Maybe you're a coach and it's just that beginning part where you get that client to the next level. And maybe that's just your little pocket course. Maybe they need to get set on their morning routine before they can dive into a lot more of the self-awareness part. Or maybe if you're like a music teacher, maybe they need to learn how to open their diaphragm first and sing maybe one song a cappella and before they start adding the instrument, like just, I mean, I'm not a music teacher, but so I might have that all wrong. But basically, you're taking something of what you already do and you're making it really small, and you already have an audience that knows that you for that, and you already have a system to get them from point A to point B, and it's just really small. I can't emphasize that enough. The second thing is your course transformation. So there's two ways of looking at this. Okay, so you want to be able to, step number one, you want to be able to really identify in your course what's the transformation that my student is going to have. Now, I don't want you to overthink this, okay? So I'm going to use, let's use something from the real world, because really the online world shouldn't be much different. We should be able to understand what it is you're trying to help people with and exactly where they're going to go. I grew up in sales, and it took me a while to figure out why I was good at it. But what happened is I was really good at being able to transfer the emotion of the transformation. So let me explain that. Okay, so when somebody would come to me to buy shoes, the transformation when they walk out, they're going to feel good and then comfortable in the shoes. They're going to feel like they look good. And so that validates the sale in that item. They've had a transformation. They probably came in with, shoes that they didn't like, or that were worn out, or that were uncomfortable. And we've transformed that discomfort into something that feels great and looks great. And so there's an emotion of good. Okay, so that's a transformation. So there's a specific problem and there's a specific transformation. The lipstick, if someone came in to me to buy a red lipstick, they're buying the red lipstick that is specific to them, that's going to make them feel like $1,000,000. They might be walking in feeling less than that, right? So it's your job to identify what's the negative emotion to the transformational emotion. Say you're a photographer, okay, and you want to put on your very first online course. You want it to be a pocket course. It's okay to get so small of an audience in the beginning that is so specific that gives you room to grow. So maybe you're going to teach somebody how to do a wedding shoot from their iPhone so that they can be the hero of their sister's wedding story because maybe the photographer had to cancel. So you don't know the reason behind the desire for your perfect client to come and purchase the course, their perfect problem, their perfect transformation. But if you create it for one in your head, you'll create it for many. So that's why I say you have to do this with a very, very open mind, or I recommend doing it with a very open mind. This also is going to set the tone for the outline of your course. This is so important, and so often it's skipped over. If we have a clear transformation and a clear path of how to get an iPhone user to be able to take their phone and shoot a wedding, have a wedding shoot, you're not going to be bringing in things like how to add graphics with Canva, right? So it helps you to scale back your outline so you're not putting in unnecessary things. It gives you that clear path to the transformation. Let me give you a question, okay? So say my program allows iPhone 13 users to take professional looking photo shoots at weddings so that they can be the hero of the show. Okay. In order to do that, my students must know this. And then you start to list out what they have to know. Like, so is it settings? Is it, if you're a photographer, comment below, you can help me out. What are the 3 things that they would need to know? And then get specific and short and actioned, smaller price, pocket course that allows you to launch out in different prices or programs, right? It allows you to grow with it. When you start small, you can always grow with it or leave it be. You have a choice, because if you build it, they're not necessarily going to come. But if you build something that you are consistently being asked, tips and tricks for, then why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you make it a saleable item? And then if it builds into something more or an add-on for your clients that are coming to you professionally, maybe if you're a photographer, you're all booked up. But hey, I have this little mini course, digital course, where if you have some time, you can take the course and I give you all the tips and tricks. Boom, you have another extra line of income. So if you're already utilizing the audience you have with the knowledge and expertise that you have, it's going to be a lot easier for you to get going on the sales. I'm not going to lie there. However, if you're starting something new, then it's still very important to be able to identify what this transformation statement is, so that when you explain to people, it's like a no-brainer. Okay, I'll use myself for an example. My statement is, I help people create an online course based on the expertise and audience that they already have. So if that's you, we need to work together. Just saying. You can find out how we can do that through the link below. Now let's move on to the next thing on the list, shall we? I like to call this one write, rest, write, repeat. And this is the actual writing of the course. Now, I touched on this in the transformation on how once you have that transformation statement, now you're able to take that and you're able to brainstorm all the things that they need, that your particular student is going to need to get them from point A to point Z. So you just brainstorm all them out. Now, I've heard other course creators, they use Post-it notes. Some people use, the thought bubbles or the, mapping. You can do this digitally. You can do it, physically, just getting down all of the information. Personally, I just set the timer for 25 minutes, unfiltered, and I just go. Have no distractions. I just go and I start typing. I'm not a very fast typer. I start writing all the things that, they'll need to do. And then the second step is organizing those. Then once you have your outline, it's important to write one lesson at a time. You want to write your course out because it will also be your transcript. You want to write your course out because it's also going to be the catalyst to what your lessons are going to be. You want to write your courses out because you want to make sure that you're getting to the point and that there's a lesson and a learning point in each lesson so that your students will succeed. Because isn't that the whole point of making an online course? If you have more student success, you have more testimonials, which helps to sell your course. And, there's nothing more deflating than people not finishing or not even opening your course. I mean, I've been there. If you've been there, let me know in the comments below and let's figure out how we can change that. When I work with my one-on-one clients and inside the Pocket Course Architect, we do the write, rest, repeat method, and it allows for greater creativity. It's more of a marathon instead of a sprint. And this is what I always say. It's like, if you don't have time to sit down and write your course an hour to an hour and a half a day in the building phase, where do you feel like you're going to get your time when you're actually helping your students through the course to make sure that you don't have any blind spots, so that you get reviews, so that you can build this course into that real, true online evergreen machine that everybody promises the online courses are going to be. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Now, some course creators will tell you that it's okay to outsource the writing part. That go ahead, just do an audio and send it off for transcription, and then get them to, transcribe everything and then send it back to you, and that will be the lesson. That might be good for some, but I still recommend for you to, if you really don't have the time, I get it, we're strapped, we have a difficult and limited time. I suggest that instead of building an online course, you maybe look at something like a webinar or a masterclass where you're teaching live, and perhaps if that live session goes very well, then you can repackage it as your course. But many, many times this is a very difficult conversation to have. If you're talking out your lessons, sometimes it turns into just a lecture and there's no teaching point or call to action. And if you need some help in that online course creation phase, shameless plug, that's one of the things that I do. Now, a lot of times I'm booked up, so I encourage you to go ahead and click on the link in the description to get the conversation starting so that we're a good fit. Some of the things that I also do is I do an audit. So I'll go in and I'll take the course and I'll ensure I'll give you, points on which you could improve it, or I'll help you ensure that there are learning points, or give suggestions around the types of assignments that you can give given your topic. So that's another thing that I negotiate with clients as well. And if you want to work together, the description is below. There's 3 commonly made mistakes in this area. Number 1 is perfectionism. You'll never get to where you want to be without just letting go of some of that perfectionism and just doing it messy. Investing in a course platform or a marketing strategy before you've tested your method or system on at least one person. Now that can be in your one-on-ones. It can also be in your online course. If you've had one person that actually needs it, that's the key. You want somebody that actually needs the service that you're providing to go through it. And if they have a transformation, then you're ready. Otherwise, they're going to help you with your blind spots. The third mistake I see made often is hiring a virtual assistant to build a marketing funnel before you even have your brand figured out. So you want to have your brand colors, you want to have your font, you want to have all of your materials figured out, at least what color you want, because those are going to be the first things that your virtual assistant asks for. They're also going to be the first thing that you need to load into your platform. So these are all things that you do outside the platform before you start investing in those slick course delivery systems. Take it from me. It's so much better if you get everything you need and then load it up, because the loading up is going to take a while. Simplify it. That's 2 words. So I want you to think about your specific course when you're doing the construction, and what does your student actually need to get to where they need to go? Do they need a video? Is audio going to work? And maybe some PDF exercises. don't make it more than it needs to be, especially in the beginning, because it's going to take you a lot longer to get those videos edited. And maybe if you struggle with a little bit of one of the biggest mistakes, and that's perfectionism, you're going to wait. You're going to want to wait. Well, I don't have my gear and I don't have my camera, or the lighting is bad. And you know what? If you wait, it will never happen. So you just need to kind of get on that wagon and get going and make it simple. So think about all the things that you need. And then the next step is writing out all the things you need. There's a free guide in the link description underneath this video to the Pocket Course GPS. And I go through absolutely everything that we talk about in this video and more. So if you're building an online course, that is a must-have, like especially if you're starting from scratch and this is your first one. I lay out everything. And after my years of experience building online courses and doing it for other people, I've seen the same things over and over and over again, and I really know what works and what doesn't. So I urge you to download it now. It's also a connection if you do want to do some work together. You know, you'd be on my email list, and I'll let you know when one of these other videos drops. The next step of your online course journey in the actual construction is starting to research the online platform that you're going to use in the delivery. But I want you to stop for just a second. Like, before you start looking and researching for that course platform, these are the 4 questions that you need to ask. And I'm going to pick up my paper. I'm going to read them. Is what I'm building a proven method? This means, do you successfully teach it to the real world? Number 2, are you known for this skill or occupation? Number 3, have you taken at least 5 to 10 people through the online version of your proven method? And number 4, do you have people asking you to create an online self-study version of what you offer? Now, if you said yes to all of those, by all means, it's time to start researching an online course platform. I highly recommend Kajabi. I have a 30-day trial down there in the link description below, which also gives you, again, access to me. It is an affiliate link, but I will give you, you get access to me for a tour and a consultation. They have lots of great embedded. It's what I use. It's no extra cost to you. I've been using Kajabi since 2015. I know what to do and what not to do, and it's definitely gotten more robust over the years, so I can help keep you focused on what it is that you need to do. And I can also help you figure out if it is the right course platform for you, because it might not be, right? So it's always about choosing one for you, which is why you want to research. You want to do your due diligence and do what works best for you. So there are some free places that you can keep your content, like Google Drive. You can do it on unlisted on YouTube, especially when you're in the testing phase and you're not publishing it out to the world. You're letting a few trusted sources in. It's not like they're going to take and leak your content all out there. You can keep it on Dropbox. Anything other than that, you start to get into the paid accounts. And if you're specifically ready, right? If everything is ready, like we discussed, and you have maybe the first module completely done and written and all the assets ready, meaning all the pictures, all the lessons, all of the video or audio, and everything is ready sitting on a folder, then jump into a trial. You have your branding deck, you have everything. Those are all the things that you need. Yes, jump into one of the trial. You might be one of the people that is able to gain revenue before your payment goes through, like once the first payment goes through. So you have to do your due diligence and do what works for you. If I were to go back, I would probably have spent a little bit more time in the free engines, in the testing places, because it really did take a while to be able to build momentum on some of my online courses. And that is no fault of the actual building of the courses, the actual structure of the courses, or the engine that was used. It's all in a marketing, which is a completely different video. But all of these things that you're doing now are going to set you up when you're really clear on your transformation statement. I'm telling you, that is the GPS for everything. That allows you to brand, that allows you to hand things over to VAs. When you have that very, very clear, it makes it a lot easier for you to talk about it in the sales strategies. So don't overlook that. If I could just go back and if you want me to do a whole video on getting your transformation statement, let me know in the comments below and we will do a video on that for sure. But I think I've talked your ear off. One more thing about selecting an online course platform and making sure that it is right for you. Here are some of the things that I've noticed that make it better. There's actually a few things. I'll read them out to you just so that I don't miss anything. It accepts payment for you. It has ability to host a landing page, otherwise known as a sales page. It has a CRM, which is a customer relationship management, and it has room to grow. Those are your 4 criteria, right? You want to be able to make things easier for you. Just to recap on the 4 basics for creating your online course. It's number 1, size matters. Let's go smaller for your first course, or even if you're reintroducing a new course or a course that you did before that didn't do well, look at the size, make it small. Size matters, especially in this day and age in 2022. Number 2 is your transformation. What problem are you solving? Now, a problem doesn't have to be like a big problem. A problem is like, where's the person right now that they don't want to be, that they want to learn something new, and where are you going to take them? What are they going to be able to do by the time they're done their time with you? Number 3 is write, rest, write. Write, rest, write. Write your content. Spend the time to go through everything, the outline, the specific lessons, and write it out. Don't talk it out. Don't send it off for transcription. Spend the time, an hour a day, write fresh. And I have a whole system that I teach inside the Pocket course. It's the bomb. And number 4 is construction. So build it before you buy it, unless of course you already have a really cool course platform and this is your second one. I still recommend building it on the outside first, so when it comes to upload, you're just like boom, 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 and it's done. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a like and subscribe and all that fancy stuff. And don't forget, there is the Pocket Course GPS underneath there and all the other links that I told you about in the video. And I will see you in the next one. Let me know what you'd like to cover next. Bye.